squirrels, welcome back. Got another pattern here for you. Another one of my favorite fall patterns. This is the Sinking Caddis Pupa. I don't usually fish it on a dead drift. I tie this one a little bit heavier so that I can swing it and it still keeps down in the water column. You can adjust the weight and everything like that you guys, when you get to tie your own, depending on what you need. But this is a pretty neat pattern here. It's pretty simple to tie, but it does have a number of different ingredients. So what we're looking at here as far as the hook, I got Orvis. This is a 1 POR. This is their nymph hook. That's size 14. I'm putting a 4mm tungsten silver bead on this one. I like the silver a little bit better. I'll explain that later. As far as the body, we're using some of this root beer color. This is the best color on this microcore as far as being productive. Okay, for the wing case and the wings, what we're using is this Swiss straw, another really good product that I'm starting to use on more and more nymphs that have wings that you want to present, but you got to keep the bulk down on a lot of these different smaller patterns. On the front here, we got a little bit of CDC. This one's like a rusty type color. We also have for the other dubbing, this is just a hairline. Here's your chocolate color. Does really well. The thread I'm using is just Semperfly copper. And I'll get right to this here, guys. I tie these beads on here ahead of time because they're tied halfway back the shank. This is just so that we can get a little bit different look here in the front. Yeah, you can glue these on, tie them on. I tie them on in groups. So if I know I'm going to be tying, this pattern, I'll do half a dozen or so ahead of time. This one I do tend to lose a lot just because it's heavier and I do swing it. So if you need to know how to do that, it's just doing figure eights over the hook here, and send me a message in the chat and I can show you how to do that. So what we do first is we get some of this root beer cord braid, and the trick to some of this is, hopefully you can see this, you see the end of this here, it's melted. I use a little pen, it's called a thread zap. It's just like a little electronic thing. It's a little bit more precise than trying to use a lighter or something like that. But if you ever see those caddis bodies, at the end of their body, it's all like mangled and sticky. That's where their silk nets come from. But we tie this on here behind this bead, so that there's a little bit of overlap there. Get this on the hook, and then we're going to glue it. But it is a good idea to put a good base of thread on here so that this has something that it can stick to, when you glue it on. Just going to cinch it up right behind the bead there. What we don't want to have happen is it to roll around the hook. That's good enough. And I'll go back over this to really secure this down, because when you do cut this, it can fray a little bit. I'll go back over that after I fold it back. And then we just reach in, cut it off. Tighten down those ends. Make sure that it stays on top of the hook. And I like to turn this upside down like this. Pull that down a little bit, then you get a little bit of super glue. Easier Put it on a needle. Put a big healthy drop in there. Run it right into the crease. And then hold it up against the hook shank. Gotta give this a little bit of time to dry. Super glue wants to go through that core braid instead of adhering to it. Sometimes, just to be sure, I'll put a drop on the inside too. Okay, that's what we got. That's the body. Now we take our Swiss straw, which comes on this little card, and it comes off on a piece that's probably about 1.5 to 2 inches wide, maybe a little bit wider than this. You can see I cut little notches in these, and you can, once you cut those notches, it'll pretty much hold a line and tear the whole way off. So once I get it to that, that's probably about 1/4 inch wide. I'll fold it up again. So that we're gonna create this type of an effect to where it flares out from a skinny point at that. On the sides of these wing buds. You can cut these as long as you want. If you just want that little bit of an impression, I typically try to use this angle down the back. You want the back to be exposed, but you want the wings to lay on the side of the body like that too. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Stay on the side. Try to gauge it a little bit to be the same length as the other one. That's not too bad. And we're going to take the same Swiss straw, put it over the back here on this side of the bead. Fold this back, tie that down good. Okay, then we're gonna get our dubbing. And I try to pick something that's a little bit buggy. This one does well. It's just called Hare's Ear Plus. It goes on real well, but it brushes out even better. All we're going to try to do here is just cover up this mess that we made. You don't need an awful lot, but I like this dark brown just because it's got a good contrast with you know, that golden body. Okay, I'm going to take this over the bead, over everything. Put a wrap around that real close to the bead there, secure that down. Grab it. Okay, now these little wings, just try to place them on the side there because you do want to see this back. Okay. Did this with black thread, so I'm just covering up the black here with the copper. All right, next thing, CDC. I use an entire CDC feather. I try to find 2 like-sized feathers and put them in the clip like this, and then we're going to do a split thread, hopefully quickly. Start the clock. This has never been my favorite thing here. Okay, I'm gonna put our clip through there, pull it back through so it's just grabbing the CDC. Let go. I'm gonna spin this clockwise. Rope that up a bit. This back to the bead here. You can see how wild and woolly it is. When we get down to where the CDC is touching, I'm gonna wrap these all back. We're using these for legs. Tighten it up just a touch. You can see how nice that CDC goes in there. And then we're going to take a little bit more dubbing to build up a head. Like I said, this is just super thin. Just a touch. That looks good to me. Peel the rest of this off. Got this touch too crowded. Okay, get your brush, beat this thing up a little bit. Try to brush those fibers back, get them mixed in with the body a little bit. So that they flow a touch. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, there you go, boys and girls. Kind of a merger pattern. That's how I fish it anyway. But you could certainly, dead drift this too. Give it a shot. It's that time of year. Fish are biting. Go catch some. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We'll see you again soon. Thanks.